Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Desire to Inspire Monday Motivation. And today I have a very special guest with me. I met this gentleman about 6 weeks ago. David Meltzer has changed my life, believe it or not, with just one suggestion. David is a top keynote speaker for Forbes. He's a business coach, a best-selling author, a CEO of a sports media company, technology pioneer, humanitarian, and as he says, most importantly, a family man. David has created a platform that allows him to communicate with everyone from college students to executives by using his principles for business and life: gratitude, empathy, accountability, and effective communication. Today, David's going to tell you more about his mission and how he likes to make lots of money, help lots of people, and have lots of fun. So, David, I am so excited that you're here today with us. You have a new book out, I heard, and you are definitely a motivator. You're an inspiration. And today I believe you're going to talk to our audience about making decisions. I'm excited to hear more.
Yeah, I think we have a huge problem today, not just in the United States, but worldwide. And I believe it's a happiness problem. I think people have lost focus. And a lot of the reason that we've lost focus is that we don't really understand the quantity of data and information that is occurring. So I read an article, for example, that one day of the Wall Street Journal today holds more information than the entire 1950s, the decade. And so when we're able to process all this information, get all this information, our educational system, our judicial system, our political system, all of the systems that have been in place, although they've taken decades and centuries to build, because we have such acceleration, they are not reconciled with what the data and what we can do in the acceleration of understanding today. So what I want people to do is understand, how do I make decisions based off of the present, even though historically time tells me certain things have to happen in certain ways. And it's creating a separation. People will go ahead and blame certain things like social media and other things about this separation. Those are just an effect of it. So I created a book that has and uses sports mainly because people love sports, all men, women, all types of sports. But what I did is I have a pregame analysis to discuss a lesson that we need to learn in life to be happy. I give sports stories to illustrate those lessons. And then I do a post-game analysis to go ahead and describe and analyze and give suggestions and advice in order to effectuate what I believe is the most important decision, which is to be happy based off of those four things that you previously stated: gratitude, empathy, which is forgiveness, accountability, and the ability to not only be inspired, but stay inspired and increase your inspiration, allowing it to come through you with appreciation, forgiveness, and accountability to empower other people. And that's going to be what I consider the most important journey of my life. Oh, I'm sorry, I can continue on. I thought there would be more questions. I apologize.
Yes, there was. I'm sorry, my thing went a little on mute there for a moment. Yeah. So I love your philosophy, and my coaching clients, a lot of times they just have the most difficult challenges making decisions, which I'm sure you see with all the people you mentor. And I find, like you said, they're really not happy, and they're worried about the past and the future and everything. And what tip can you give our audience today to help keep them in that moment that you talked about?
Know your values. If you know, and this is how you find those values for you. There's 4 types of values. And if you're not spending a minimum of 10 minutes a day evaluating, energetically, emotionally valuing your day, you're making a huge mistake, because you're creating resistance, void, shortages, obstacles, and interference to the ability to make a decision and be happy with it. For me, I spend still today a minimum of 10 minutes a day understanding my personal values for the day, what personally is important: my love, integrity, character. And they change day to day, and they're not balanced every day, but over my lifetime, they'll be completely balanced. So personal values, number 1. 2, experiential values. I look and determine a minimum of 10 minutes a day. What are my experiential values today? Making those critical decisions to be able to prioritize things according to the experience that I want to have, considering life is about lessons. We're going to keep on learning the lessons until we learn them. We're going to keep on coming until we learn them. And then 3rd, my giving values. How am I going to be of service? How do I provide value to others? How productive am I going to be with the 24 hours of man-made constructive time that I've been given? And how can I utilize and bend that in order to help more and more people? And then finally, my receiving values. What do I want to receive today? And if you take all 4 of those and give an inventory and understand and evaluate what your day is going to be based on, those foundational values, it becomes quite simple to make decisions, because as you react to your actions, we get one action during the day. I make mine at the beginning of the day, the highest frequency I can. And my reaction is to get back to that high frequency. But we now can react with the correct decision. And mine is always based on what, according to my personal experiential giving and receiving values, is this decision going to elevate my vibration frequency and aligned with those values of today? Or is it going to put me on a different trajectory, accelerate me into an ego-based consciousness of separation, inferiority, superiority, need to be right, need to be guilty, resentful, offended, angry, anxious, frustrated, all of these different things that come about when we don't know our values for the day. We haven't done or spent a minimum amount of time in order to effectuate, to evaluate. So if you have a foundation of evaluation based off of those values, you'll find that your game time decision making, those decisions will not only be intuitive, but there'll be logic involved as well.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's one of the things that I'm also encouraging people to know, even their core values, let alone, like you said, everything for the daily part of life. Because, you know, David, when I was back in my 40s, I went through a big tragedy, and I know all of us have a story, right? And something happened to me that made me realize I didn't know my individual core values. I had belief systems that were handed down to me that really were not working for me. And I find that happening a lot with people in life. They're doing things that really are not part of their own belief system, but something that was passed forward. And then they have struggles along the way. Do you find that happening too?
Absolutely. And I've actually studied the science of what you're talking about, why people go through quantum shifts and transformations in their life in a varying age. Like you said, everyone has their story. But what happens is this, is that we have 3 different realms that are affecting our happiness and are affecting our lives and the lessons that we've learned and how quickly we can recover. Number 1 is the conscious level. So everything that happens to us consciously is environmental. Because our cellular structure, our bodies, have a memory that only lasts a day. By the time you wake up till the time you go to sleep, that's your conscious memory. So what happens in the conscious world is we're affected by the 5 people we're closest to, the books we read, the TV, the radio, whatever we're surrounding ourselves with. Now, what's interesting is that data, about 10,000 new thoughts or lessons or data inputs a day, if we consistently do that every day, it goes to our subconscious, and in our subconscious mind, which is effectuated by sleep, by the way. And I always tell people, most people don't realize the number 1 habit that everyone on earth shares, and the number 1 habit that we spend the most time and are the most consistent with is sleep, but nobody ever studies sleep. I always tell my coaching clients, before you pay me, pay a sleep coach. I have a sleep coach on call at all time, because I'm going to maximize the 40,000 of the same thoughts, the same lessons that exist in my mind. And I want to be able to access those 40,000 lessons, because I know one thing about lessons. Number 1, I'm here to learn lessons. 2, I'll keep on learning lessons. They'll keep on coming until I learn them. And 3, I will forget every lesson I ever learned at one time or another, but I have the power to access them. I have the power to access lessons I haven't even understood or known yet. And why is that? You hit it better than anyone else, probably through your wisdom and experience that you have. We have a quantum memory. We have a quantum memory that exists in our unconscious. We have DNA, and I call that our quantum memory. We have an epigenetic level that activates the DNA that has a memory. So the short-term memories in the body, the midterm memories in the subconscious, 40,000 thoughts there. But our long-term memory, which scientists believe is at a minimum our great-grandparents, our grandparents, our parents, down to us. we can see this memory and it doesn't fit in our lives. You just said it perfectly. I was at a belief system and all, yeah, because it was quantum. It was in your genetics. Even worse than that, I think it goes to multiple. I'm a freak of nature. You don't have to believe this, but I believe there's billions of lifetimes of quantum memory, and that I'm stuck not only being able to notice the 4 generations if I'm lucky, but I have memories in my system that I'm living off of beliefs that probably existed far before we can actually even fathom. That's my own personal belief. Even if you take it in the context of the 3 realms, you need to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the right people and the right ideas in the conscious level, that you're studying sleep and understanding how do I access repetitively the thoughts that I want, the lessons that I've learned in my subconscious, so that I can activate and change my quantum memory. I can change my entire energetic field because of the actions and thoughts that I have in conscious, subconscious. Those are what affect the unconscious, allowing me to become more aware, vibrate faster, have a higher frequency, be more inspired. What does it all mean? We are connected. This is the desire to inspire. We are connected to the most powerful source of light, energy, and wisdom you could ever imagine. And we are healthy. We are smart. We are genius. We are all these things. But what we don't understand is we are just creating the interference or the corrosion to that which inspires us, not on just on the intake, but also on the outtake, right? Some of us are so inspired. This is where I was when I was in my 30s, multimillionaire, super inspirational. But I had created all of this interference on the downstream. I wasn't allowing myself to be the vessel that I am, to appreciate, add value to everything I'd receive and give it away to others to empower them. And so there's 2 different inspirations that go on in our life. One is, let's suck in as much inspiration that we can in our conscious, unconscious, and subconscious. But more importantly, let it come through us with appreciation and go to other people as well. And let's work on clearing the connection, because we're always connected. It's like when people are unhealthy.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Desire.
Yeah. So I tell them all the time, if you feel unhealthy or sick or tired, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing to disturb the perfect connection that I have to pure health, pure inspiration, pure wisdom? That's what I focus in on. How much interference am I creating? How much corrosion am I creating? And I just keep sucking in more and more and more, because that source of power and this source of power are infinity. So I know I only have to enjoy the pursuit of that potential.
I love that. I really do, because I believe that too. And you mentioned something about all the DNA and all of that lineage. I did a session with a shaman years ago, and she had me line up all the male genealogy. And it was really interesting, David, because obviously I knew my father's face. I never met my grandfather, but I knew his face from pictures, but I didn't know all that other genealogy. And I went up to every single one of those men in this guidance, this transcendent guidance she did with me. And there was such great healing around the relationships with males. And then all the women of the genealogy came in, and there was just so much love that it did such grand healing. And while on a conscious level, I couldn't really understand it all, on a subconscious level, it shifted dynamics in my life tremendously.
Yeah, and I think the more people try things, and I know not everyone's aligned and understands or believes in what we're talking about, and that's super cool. Calligraphies, for example, I believe I get karmic downloads from ancient writings, and I have huge calligraphies in my office and at my home to hold energy and download. I wear bracelets, and people ask me about things all the time. And so I have a rule about these things that we're talking about, because I really think it's important to bring people together, that we don't scare people away just because we talk about things that they don't know about, understand, or may not believe it. Here's what I believe. Try as many things as you can, but always determine the risk. So the example I give is I went down to Mexico City, and I found one of their cultural beliefs is that to find true enlightenment, you need to cut off your head. Now, the risk of that being wrong is quite large. I don't try that out because it has too high of a risk. But wearing beads that hold energy and karma have, first, these are gifts, so they didn't even cost me anything. So that's one risk. But 2, very little risk wearing them. But the second component is the most important. Does it work for you? We are all these quantum genetically different beings. We are our own fingerprint print on the earth. We all are such individuals. So I encourage people, when you find things you don't know, don't understand, or don't agree with, or don't believe in, try it out. And if it has no risk, try it out. And if it works for you, you'll be much better off than you were before. And if it doesn't work for you, then let it go. It's not for you.
That's right.
It's fine. Not everybody likes red meat, that's fine. And not everybody likes to be a vegan. That's fine. But it works for so many different people. Rejoice in what works for you. Increase. There's so much potential. Just continue to improve and enjoy the improvement of the pursuit of your potential.
Absolutely, David. Thank you so much for those words of wisdom. David, you actually gifted me this book back in California, Connected to Goodness. And so everybody, this is on Amazon. And David, you have another book. Do you want to tell them about that?
Yeah, so I have 4 different books. That's the first book, Connected to Goodness. And it's really a great way to learn step by step, like Think and Grow Rich, the ability to get what you want in life. I believe money is the currency of this world, and it's an object of energy that we put into the flow. And the more money you have, a green card buys so much, a gold card so much, a platinum card so much, but a black card buys even more. That also talks about the non-pragmatic side. I believe in making a lot of money. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it allows us to shop. And the more we can shop for, the more we learn from what we shop for, the happier we're going to be. But faith is a currency. Faith is the aggregate of what we think, say, do, believe in these unconscious competencies that you talked about, personality traits, characteristics, obsessions, and addictions. But if we put faith in what we want, it's like the more faith we have, green card faith, you're going to get some of what you want. Gold card faith, you'll get more of what you want. Platinum card faith, you'll get even more of what you want. But if you can have black card faith, that when things don't seem to go the way they should, when things don't go the way you plan, those who have the platinum and the black card faith and putting faith in what they want, it seems to come in so many logical ways. And so that book, Connected to Goodness, helps you manifest or shop for what you want rapidly and accurately and to be happy. Then the second book I wrote is Compassionate Capitalism. Because I am a money-oriented person, the second book is about making money to help people, allowing things to come through you, not living in a world of not enough or just enough, but living in the world of more than enough of everything for everyone. The third book, which is less known, Jack Canfield and I wrote together a workbook, and it's Unstoppable: Creating the Life You Love. And all of these books, by the way, if you DM me, email me, just remember that name, David Meltzer, at David Meltzer, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. If you send me your address, I will mail you these books. I do not charge for my books. These are all gifts from me, and I'll pay for shipping. So it's not some manipulative sales tool to, have you pay more for shipping than it costs me. But, here, lastly, the one that Game Time Decision Making, which is McGraw-Hill. That one is sold through McGraw-Hill. The other ones I did myself with Jack Canfield and Blaine Bartlett and myself, and Warren Moon wrote the forward. But Game Time Decision Making is where we started this great Desire to Inspire, which is helping you make the decisions to be happy. Very clear, easy, fun read that will change your life. I promise you, it will create an unbelievable amount of abundance and happiness in your life.
You're amazing, David. I want to make sure I have your email correct. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can actually, it's not, but it's david@dmeltzer.com.
Dmeltzer, I'll fix it.
That's the only thing. Yeah, unfortunately, the man who owns David Meltzer didn't give it to me. So everything else is David Meltzer. The only thing that's short is dmeltzer.com. So you can, if you Google David Meltzer, you will find me. The Dave Meltzer out there is a World Wrestling Federation person. That's not me. I'm David Meltzer at dmeltzer.com. So david@dmeltzer.com. Come and reach me, and I will be happy to help anybody. Thank you.
Well, your generosity, humanitarianism is just amazing. You have changed my life, and you don't even know how much in just the few moments I had with you in California. So everybody, David offered you a copy of his book. I mean, that is a generous offering. And, one of the things that David taught me that was so simple that really helped me open my faith channel even more, David, was asking for help. Because so many of us have problems with asking for help. And it has made me happier because I asked you to come on here today, and now you get to, share your wisdom with thousands of people and your generosity. And may God bless you continually on everything you do. Is there any last words you'd like to give our audience? Because I know you've got to get going. You've got a busy day and a lot of people to help.
Yeah, absolutely. The best piece of advice I have is to be kind to your future self and do good deeds. It's that simple. Kindness over being right. Be kind to your future self. Reach out to me. I'm happy to inspire and help whoever I can. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Just stay on while David says goodbye, and we'll go over a few things with you. So isn't he wonderful? So generous. This man literally has changed my life in a matter of a few moments when I met him. And so I'm going to put his email up again. He generously offered to gift you a copy of his book, okay, Connected to Goodness. So send him an email and let him know that you saw us on Desire to Inspire, okay? And if anybody else is looking for a platform to inspire people, well, get in touch with me, because it's what I love to do. And because of David at telling us at a conference, this is why it's so important to be around high-spirited, high-energy people at conferences. The simple thing of asking for help is not always so simple. And, when I went up to a woman that I didn't even know, that whole conversation opened up to so much more you can't even imagine. And so then what did God do? God put David literally in front of my face at the end of the day, where I was like, uh-oh, what do I do, right? And so I could have said, excuse me. I could have just been, oh, God, I got to talk to him. But I did. I said hello. And I had a very honest conversation with David. And one thing led to another. And he has now connected me with somebody that is going to put me on a platform to inspire more people too. So you see how this rolls, everybody? You've got to put yourself out there. You have got to, you're welcome, Terry. You have got to take the risk and have the faith, like he said, those principles that he shared, about empathy, about having faith, about having, that happiness factor. If you're not happy doing what you're doing, then you shouldn't be doing it, okay? So you got to know your core values. And one of my core values is integrity. And, I really had to search for this. So you've got 4 major core values that you come into in this life. Find them. And then you've got all these other ones like David was talking about that set your tone for your day. And be sure you know what your frequency is. And like he said, explore other things that, may in fact bring you to another level in your life. I'm going to put David's email up here one more time. Nope, that's not the one. That's the one he said no. Okay, that one. And go check David out. Go thank him. Go and thank him, because it really is about paying it forward, because you never know when you say thank you to somebody where that will lead you in your life. So God bless you all. Thanks for joining us today. And go desire to inspire someone in your life today. And I hope that we inspired you today. So let's flood this with a bunch of hearts down below for David, because he's going to see the replay and it will go up on YouTube. So if you're on replay, hit pound replay. And if you get to see this on YouTube, then make some comments down below. God bless everybody. Have a wonderful day.